And in my playbook tonight, Toyota is under fire from Congress for events leading up to the company's recent recalls of more than 8 million vehicles. The House Energy and Commerce Subcommittee and Oversight and investigations looking into the defects of certain Toyota models that cause some cars to speed out of control. In a hearing today, committee members attacked Toyota for chalking up the problems to floor mats and accelerator pedals and ignoring the possibility of bigger defects.
Toyota all but ignored pleas from consumer to examine sudden unintended acceleration events.
We've been looking for mechanical failures that are a cheap, easy fix and haven't done the type of rigorous failure analysis to get to the heart of the problem.
Toyota failed its customers and the government neglected its responsibilities.
But the president of Toyota's U.S. operations insisted that the problem was not an electrical one.
We are confident that no problems exist in our electronic throttle systems in our vehicles. We've done extensive testing on this system, and we've never found a malfunction that's caused unintended acceleration.
Iowa Congressman Bruce Braley sits on the House Energy and Commerce Committee and was at the hearing today. He joins us now tonight on the Ed Show. Congressman Braley, good to have you with us. Tell me, what were your impressions of Jim Lentz, the USA division of Toyota, the president that represents Toyota in this country? What were your impressions of his testimony today?
Well, I had several impressions, Ed. One of the things that everybody knows is you can't fix a problem until you admit you've got a problem. So by starting his testimony discounting the possible impact of their electronic throttle control system on these sudden unanticipated accelerations, he defied the information that the committee had collected, which showed that many of these problems that have been reported have nothing to do with a sticky accelerator or floor mats. So that was disappointing. But as the hearing progressed, he started to acknowledge that there was more that Toyota could do, more that Toyota would do, and he also gave some very compelling testimony that actually caused him to choke up when he talked about losing his brother over 20 years ago in a fatal auto accident. And I reminded him that most of the decisions being made about the recall of Toyota products are not being made here in North America, they're being made in Japan. And then he needed to share that personal story with the people who are making decisions in Japan about product recalls, product defects, and product safety.
Congressman, I don't know if you're familiar with this story, but there was an accident here in the Minneapolis area, and there was a trial back in 2006 where Kona Fong Lee claimed that his brakes didn't work. He ended up going 90 miles an hour on an off-ramp. That was his defense in court, that the brakes didn't work. 3 people were killed. He is behind bars. He is serving a prison sentence because of that. Now, doesn't that make you wonder what's going on here? And doesn't this guy deserve to have his case looked at again?
Well, anybody who is operating one of these vehicles where there's this unexplained answer on whether or not the electronic acceleration problem is related to a product defect needs to get answers to what's causing these problems. And there was a recent example in San Diego, Ed, where 4 people were killed in a vehicle, and the driver of the vehicle was a California Highway Patrol officer. So these explanations about accelerators sticking and a floor mat problem don't make sense when you look at the facts of the accident.
All right, here's some response from the Republicans from today's hearing, hitting the Democrats in all of this as far as the bailout was concerned for American car makers.
This government, through the Troubled Asset Relief Program, has given $64 billion to prop up General Motors and Chrysler. This is an inherent conflict of interest. This is why we need to get out of the business of bailing out business.
Some have expressed concern with the possibility that since the federal government now has a vested interest in some of our domestic auto manufacturers, it may have some incentive to highlight potential flaws with competing manufacturers. While I hope and I believe this is not the case, just because I'm paranoid doesn't mean somebody isn't out to get me.
Congressman Braley, what's your response to all of that?
Hogwash. That's what we would say in Iowa. These claims are bogus and ridiculous, Ed. I started my remarks at the hearing by reminding everybody that I am an equal opportunity consumer safety advocate. I don't care if it's General Motors, Chrysler, Toyota. We cannot allow defective products to kill and severely injure Americans, and that's why getting to the root cause of the problem is the most important thing, and that's not a Democratic or a Republican issue. That's an American issue.
Congressman, I'd like you to look into that Lee case, because I think there's real merit. We know now that the brakes don't work, and that was his defense, and he is behind bars now because he was driving a car where the brakes didn't work. And, I just think this is affecting a lot of Americans, and these hearings have got to uncover the truth. And I appreciate your time. I'm short on tonight. I appreciate you being with us, Congressman. Dick Cheney just survived a heart attack. He just survived heart attack number 5, and I want to know if he's ready to let Americans have access to the same kind of care he received. That's next on The Ed Show. Stay with us.